Hello everybody, welcome back, or just welcome the first time if you're tuning in. My name is Josh the RV Nerd, this is Bish's RV here at my hometown Coldwater, Michigan store, and that is the 22 SW Alpha Wolf with some nice 2024 updates. They've taken a very popular floor plan here, and they've punched a couple areas up significantly. A couple things I really like. If you're a boondock dry camper, you are going to love the new freshwater capacity on this. It has like an 80-gallon fresh tank on it. Because you figure you've got two great tanks, one for the kitchen, one for the bathroom, and a black tank that you need to be able to feed, so you actually have pretty much enough water to do all that. They've improved their solar package. By default, it's only a 100-watt battery tender, perfect for park camping people like me, just keeps my battery tended up in storage. But if you're going to go off-grid, you can daisy chain and expand on that up to 500 watts, which is not terrible by any means. It's also got a kind of a cool little mini camp kitchen on the outside, which is great, because this one does have fairly minimal inside like kitchen prep space, because instead of going with an extended countertop, they put a huge walk-in pantry entertainment center right behind the television area. So you've got the electric space heat and fireplace and massive walk-in storage going on behind it there. Now there's a couple cool things about this one, a couple downsides, like it is a short camp queen. I've been told by actual owners there's plenty of room for a true queen if you want to slot one in there, and I love how they use the bigger bathroom vent fan just right by default right from the factory. That is phenomenal. And this year, they've also taken one of the most popular aftermarket upgrades, an oxygenic shower head to give you a little bit better pressure when you're getting cleaned off, and standardize that. So what's kind of cool about this is you kind of have to spend less money to get it ready to go camping, and it's just a little bit more ready by default right from the factory, which is cool. Heated belly for extended seasons and a bunch of other fun things. If you like how we show you the good with the bad, hit that subscribe button. Let's peel this onion apart figuratively. I don't want to take a claw hammer to it.
So what does this one have to offer you? Is it the right one for you? Are you getting your second camper the first time? Those are the kind of questions I want to dive into and maybe help you answer here. For the 24 season, they've done a couple little things, like they've standardized a central vacuum system on here. But one of the things that I like is, you can go get the whole, pool cleaner hose kit and whatnot. But you see that black rectangle right next to the ground level. That's what I call the electric dustpan. You flick that thing up with your toe whenever you have generator or park power, and it will just, anything that you sweep toward it, it'll just suck it right up into little, Ghostbusters containment unit. Couldn't decide if I want to say unit or, I don't know. And instead what came out was stupidity. No factory standard TV. Their optional TV isn't really impressive. If I was going to add a TV to this, I would probably just go get my own smart TV or something like that. That's what I would do personally, and it'll probably cost you less. Standard 15,000 BTU air conditioner up front is a nice touch, and right over here by the entry door, just to help you get your bearings, it is prepped and ready for a full window there. It feels a little dark in this area, but I don't know, it's not the end of the world. It's not too big of a deal. The thing that kind of threw me off for a little bit is, for a second, I was like, why is this over here? But I realized, when we go outside the RV, you'll see that they've done some kind of campsite security things where you can, peek over your entry door with a camera. And that's where you could power your monitor unit. So you could actually install a privacy shade, keep it drawn, and still have a look at what's happening over on your campsite. Now let's rip this Band-Aid off. For 24, they have stuck with some carpet in slides. More and more manufacturers continue to move away from that. There are some people that do like a little touch of carpet on their toes just to kind of, keep the feet warm. Everyone's got a little different view of things like that. You might have noticed the slide side window does not open for airflow, but that big one does right there. Great if you open your screen door. Well, keep your screen door closed, open your main door for cross breeze. They've also cleaned up their slide fascia, and overall, if I could say the one area I feel Alpha and Arctic is most improved this year, it's that they're delivering from the factory just a cleaner execution on their concepts. They are not trying to be the fanciest, flashiest, be-all, end-all. That's never who they're going to be, more than likely. But they're really working on improving their general fit and finish. I'm not telling you it's flawless. I'm not telling you there's not still some work to be done. I've detected 6 or 7 little things in this RV. But that's not the 12 to 14 I used to see, I don't think you should have to, when you buy a brand new RV, also buy a staple gun to put it back together, once you take it home. And that was kind of how these were-ish for a few years. Now it's not that way, not to that severe degree. But again, I hope they continue to improve in that regard and stay focused on that. Now, from the theater seat, this is your view right here. In case you're wondering what that black vertical strip is just above the fireplace, that little hutch area right there, that is a mount for a specific Bluetooth speaker that is not included with this camper. And frankly, the way that it's set in there, I'm wondering if you can actually get the speaker in, up, and then slotted down in place. I also don't know that you really necessarily need to worry about it because the RV sound system is a Bluetooth speaker. The RV itself is a Bluetooth speaker, basically. And this is probably my favorite upgrade. Last year, they had a door knob. It made you think you had to turn. But now it's just a pull, which is what it always was with a magnet hold back. It would always trip me up, and I always felt so stupid every time I ran into it. Now, when I describe this thing as a walk-in pantry, this is what I mean. I mean, I can literally walk in that pantry, although that Octopus Fight Club better cool their jets, buddy. But, I mean, that is huge. That is, like, if you need room to, put a Swiffer mop or something like that, if you're looking for that extra kind of space, that is a perfect place for it, which is important because the rest of the kitchen is fairly minimal. By going with that big, bulky, blocky, enclosed storage, they really limited the amount of countertop kitchen space in here. So, everything is a push and a pull. When you gain in one place, you lose in another, and that's just kind of what we're looking at on this one right here. They still have that big 12-volt DC compressor fridge. They do include a pantry, beside the refrigerator over there, which is great. So you actually have, like, dual pantries in this model, which, let me ask you this question. Now that I'm saying that, even though it's a smaller pantry, it's still quite deep. You can put a ton of storage in there. And people wonder sometimes, is it a problem having a refrigerator in the slide? The refrigerator fully loaded probably weighs less than, or at least the same as a pantry fully loaded. Manufacturers account for things that they put in the slide. They don't account for things they didn't put in the slide. So, like, if you load up a heavy bunch of stuff on top of the sofa where they weren't expecting there to be cargo, well, it might be a problem. If you load up the enclosed cabinet and refrigerator spaces they included, they've accounted for that. You're good. But what I was getting at here, I'm sorry, squirrel, is since you do have a dedicated pantry over there, what if instead of that full walk-in pantry-tainment by the door, the kitchen counter extended over, we picked up a couple windows and added some overhead cabinet space? What would you say to that idea? You know what? I see benefits in greater storage, especially when this thing has respectable cargo capacity, which a lot of trailers have terrible cargo capacity, this not being one of them. But I don't know. I think some counter space and stuff may not be a bad call here. Now, behind that faucet, you have some household and USB outlets. Under that overhead cabinet by the stovetop vent hood, you do have some household outlets over there. The bedroom from the factory is a Camp Queen bed. However, Alpha Wolf knows you prefer true queens. They're not ignorant to this fact. They're not just ignoring it, and they're not stupid. What they are working toward is they are slowly retrofitting their models, and as they build new models, to be True Queen capable. So they've left some extra room at the foot of this one. Now, the thing is, they only stock one mattress in their factories. So they're not, they still have some popular legacy floor plans that are still running Camp Queens that are not yet True Queen capable. Over time, they will probably switch over, but it's not this year. Both sides of the bed have household and USB plugs, but this one looks a little bit different because it's actually a single point inverter. You can flick that sucker on and have at least one live outlet purely off battery power. Although, keep in mind when you do that, you will tax the batteries more heavily. Now, because of the nose and the curvature of this, their hanging wardrobes are quite deep. So I'm wondering what you think about the idea where some brands do like the little power, like the headboard pocket thing behind them. Personally, I really like that idea. But something else I really like is how they've added some drawers over here in this bedroom. I thought that was fantastic right there. Now, one of the kind of catch-22 things, though, is they only do a single gas strut under the bed. And a single strut's not even enough to hold up the factory backbreaker Death Wafer cheap mattress. And it's kind of funny because I think if they didn't put any struts in there, people probably would just say, okay, well, there's no struts. But by only doing one strut, it makes you ask the question, well, if they cut that corner, what other corners did they cut? Which I understand that. I don't think that that's necessarily a fair way to look at this RV. I understand why somebody would ask that. And I wish they would just either do 2 struts or no struts, personally. And in road mode, this might be a deal breaker for some folks. And if it is, I'd actually appreciate if you just like the video. Like, you know, I went out of my way here to show you something that might be a severe problem for folks and maybe cause you to not want to buy a camper. Well, we have other RVs that can potentially, you know, solve that problem for you. But with no direct bedroom entry door, that means that you lose the bedroom, you know, in motion on this one. However, right from the main door, obviously you can get to like your refrigerator, basically all of your kitchen storage. You can also very easily walk right back here through the bathroom. I'm just trying to spin you slowly so you don't get motion sick. Oh, by the way, I don't think I talked about this in our main part of our tour. They are using the big Fajita Friday Fume Fight and Fart fan up there, not the little dollar store 4-inch Friday. And wait a minute. Did I even look at the bathroom in our main tour? I don't think I did. I think I just totally spaced out after the bedroom. Okay, well, sorry about that. Let's take a look at the bathroom, shall we? First of all, headroom and shower. The RV's 6.5 foot tall floor to ceiling inside, which means my head needs to be in that skylight because I'm a little over 6 foot. This year, to give you a place to dry clothes, like when you get out of the lake or whatever, they've actually included a handy little clothes drying rod up there that you can, you know, and it makes sense because if you have like wet towels or shorts, it's gonna drip. And if it drips, you don't want it dripping onto your floor or your cabinetry. Instead, it just drips into a big shower pan, you know? So that makes sense right there. I will say those shower knobs are down awful low. But up here, this is very, very cool. They have standardized the most popular aftermarket shower head replacement in the entire world of RVing with that oxygenic shower head right there. The goal behind those is that the way that they're designed, you know, RVs are a low water pressure system, but those can help kind of overcome water pressure deficits and give you the sensation of a little bit better water pressure when you're actually, you know, at your campsite. Now, this is, as you saw, a very big bathroom. If you are a big booty Rudy, you're going to fit in here quite nicely. And taking a look at the storage here in the bathroom, you can see they really loaded this sucker up. So sorry, I'm doing things way out of my normal order today. But the fact is, yeah, you can get to the bathroom with the slide closed. So why don't they put a second door into the bedroom?
Well, people who didn't ask, I'll tell you. RV design is sometimes tricky because things inside and outside kind of fight for space, specifically wall space. So if they added a door to the bedroom on this one, it would basically be located where that window and that front awning arm are located. So that awning arm would have to go backwards because there's no way to push it forwards. The trick is with that mini camp kitchen and window and stuff there, you would have to shrink that awning back like 6-8 feet. And you'd have a joke of a pathetic awning, and boy, would you leave some comments on that thing right there. And not everybody prefers a second entry door. They add a surprising amount of weight for the frame structure around them so the RV's wall doesn't flex and bend and break. They add extra cost. They add, you know, some people dislike the loss of potential privacy there. Now, some builders do it, some don't. It just depends on how things lay out on the walls and where they all end up. So, in case you were curious, there you were. And if you weren't, I'm sorry. The towing factors on a model like this are also pretty excellent. It's only 27.5 foot maximum length tip to tail. So tip of the tongue, back of the bumper, 27.5 feet. That's not too terrible, not too scary. And with a maximum GVW of just over 7,500 pounds and only about 5,500 pounds base weight, you have some really good cargo capacity, which is really important because with that big fresh tank that they've added to this thing, you might need some of that extra capacity available right there. So overall, I think the specs on this one add up nicely, and I think there's some serious potential for tow package half-ton towability on her. They are using magnet holdbacks for their baggage doors, which is kind of nice, and I really like how they're using a full-size pass-through baggage door on both sides. And notice how they even really clean that up under the bed, like you don't see like open skeletal structure or anything like that in there. That little motion light for the pass-through, it's not much, but it's enough, you know? And there's a matching one on the other side, just a thoughtful little detail there. Now that black box we're looking at is our solar charge controller. The controller that they're using on this can handle pretty safely 400, I've been told, maybe up to 500 watts of solar. So, you know, you have a 100-watt base factory battery tending package on this. But you want to daisy chain some panels up on that roof and expand on it? You definitely could. And I tell you, they did a good job putting some good awning space on this one, too. So, where the Alpha Wolf differs from things like the Cherokee and Gray Wolf series, even the Black Label series, like Black Label also has fiberglass, but it's not a laminated aluminum wall RV. That's where this division comes in. Actually, sometimes people ask me, what does the -L stand for in the Alpha Wolf model numbers, and that's actually to indicate that it's laminated, because historically Cherokee didn't do anything laminated. They really wanted to bring some attention to it. Basic little 2-burner cooktop. You got the dog dish style little sink over here. It's not plumbed or anything like that. You see how you do have that cold water sprayer over there? That's also to potentially help not just clean up, but feed that ice maker. And that thing, man, you got water, you got power, you got ice, baby. It pumps it out. If a manufacturer is going to do outside speakers, I kind of like what they did here. They kept the sound down low and localized, so you're not blowing away the neighbors with your Freedom Rock, brother. Oh, I kind of just realized, I forgot. They also added that bigger entry handle right there. And along with that, some things that they've done on their entry here is they've put what looks like a backup camera prep mount right here above the door. You'll see a similar thing on the back of it. They're no longer doing a factory standard backup camera on these. But what they're doing is they're prepping it so that if you want a backup camera, or if you want like an entry door security camera, you want to keep that shade pulled, you can do that here. They are prepped and ready for a telescopic removable ladder, which is great. A couple years ago, the entire Cherokee family removed all ladder prep from the walls, which I'm just going to say this. I thought that was a bonehead move. I kind of understand why they did it, but it felt penny wise and pound foolish to me, so I'm glad to see that that's not necessarily the case anymore. That cargo carrier back there, by the way, that is 200-pound rated before the spare tire goes on, so you're going to want to kind of budget and plan accordingly, depending on what you're doing. You may want to relocate the spare tire if you're going to add some weight to it, because keep in mind, weight behind the axles tows worse than weight in front of or above the axles. Ideally, you want weight above the axles if you can help it. You don't want to load serious heavy weight dead on the tail of this sucker. And I like how all of our hookups here, they're all in one consolidated location. And something I think some folks might like, there's no water hookups above electrical hookups, which is a really common kind of thing in a lot of RV design. And one last note here for you, something I just double checked. This is a 2-headed sewer monster. You do have a sewer outlet right there and one behind the slide. Thankfully, you don't have any like pull valves or hookups or anything buried underneath of a slide out, because that sucks when you got to do the little crawl of shame through the, well, probably the most tainted part of the hookup station, as it were. Anyway, you don't have to worry about that here. This is a very popular layout from a number of different brands. So what I'm going to do is leave you some links in the description where you can see if we have one of these in stock, what we're asking, and the other builders, some of the other builders of a layout like this, and you can kind of choose which one works best for you. Now, we don't do hidden dealer fees, and on our website, we do publicly publish any pricing on anything that we have actively in stock. So it's all one click away when you're ready. And until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.